Good afternoon, dear doctor. Good afternoon, my classmates. In fact, in order for Namison participating in this interesting novel, I intended to concentrate on the way in which the writer Jane Austen introduced her female characters in the novel, in her popular novel Pride and Prejudice. Actually, as we know, that Jane Austen is known as a romantic writer, a woman who is often reminded as a writer who mainly dealt with romance, love, and marriage. Her novels are not only actually about romance stories, because there is some much more significant ideas inside these novels. She wrote about the conventions over time, the conventions of the Victorian era, which are deemed as the structure of the society, as the building block in the society of that time, and which is the society that is extremely built on strict codes of appearances and based on strict moral and social patterns of patriarchy. So accordingly, Jane Austen hoped to demonstrate these conventions. This is why her novels are called novels of manners, in which she includes great discipline of society of that time. So one of her novels, which is Pride and Prejudice, was written in 19th century, and as we know, in that period women were not encouraged to write anything because of people thought that women don't have any exposure to life, and therefore if they write tales or stories, then they will be unreal. Thus Jane Austen in her novel Pride and Prejudice challenged this stereotypical image and the conventions of her society. How is that? By presenting unconventional female characters like Elizabeth Bennet, who expected to behave according to her society norms, and although she was aware of the expected behavior in her society, yet she intended to take a stand of her society foibles, in which people should reflect the formal manners. In her novel, Austen showed that her female characters are capable of rational thought, and they don't only limit to domestic world they inhabit. Because in the age of rationality, all mankind are believed to have the capacity of reason, except women. They were not included in that generalization. Under this patriarchal system, Elizabeth, the female character who is introduced by Austen, broke such conventions. And this is due to her personality, which is provided with recourse to rationality and enable her to confront Mr. Darcy's arrogance and pride and justify her indignation to the way he spoke when he offered her a proposal of marriage. So thereby she was aware that her life served a higher purpose. She was able to distinguish her distinct nature and special mission. And even when she rejected Mr. Darcy, she tried to maintain control over herself, even though she was humiliated by him or by his treatment of her family. She gives us, actually, for this character, I mean Elizabeth, a typical example of women elegancy of 19th century, who is maintained her sense of social codes by being selective about her words and refused the role assigned to her by her patriarchal society. For until this, if you heard my record or my participation, I will be very grateful for you, and thank you so much.